Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to the weekend preview. Finals fever for SuperCoach. We get underway for our league finals. I've got a preliminary final for my SuperCoach draft with a few mates, so that'll probably be taking centre stage for me this week. But as far as SuperCoach Classic goes, it is getting more and more difficult to have something fresh on the weekend preview because, as we know, at this stage of the season, everyone trades pretty hard early days. Then that second half of the season, we have to limit it. We really don't have as many cash cows going around and things like that. But at this stage, there's a few changes. Gary Abbott's back in the team. We all know the big news of Paddy Dangerfield is, of course, suspended for that 1 week. Hodgie's out, which isn't probably big for SuperCoach. Josh Kennedy is out for the Swans. There might be a few who have him. But otherwise, there's nothing absolutely glaringly obvious to go for. Bruce holds his spot as well. But look, talking about the Dangerfield situation, there'll be people who trade him. The stats always show that when it's an absolute no-brainer to keep him, that there's a small minority, a percentage of people who choose to take these guys to the trade table. Dangerfield's an obvious hold. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but there'll be people who are umming and ahhing and going, oh no, I'm playing Johnny over here in my first final. Just keep him. Yeah, you might want to win your final against your best mate this week, but trust me, if you do win it, you meet him in a grand final, you're going to lose it because you've burned a trade and traded out the best player in the game. So hold your horses on that one. I want to talk captaincy because, of course, with Dangerfield out, he has been super reliable as a captain. So I think we all then go Dustin Martin. That's probably the next guy in line, dare I say it, for the Brownlow as well. For what it's worth, I think Martin's probably, at this stage of the season, leading the Brownlow anyway. But looking at our captain options, of course, a safe bet would be Tom Mitchell playing Richmond on the Sunday. Dustin Martin, of course, on that Sunday. I want to look a little bit more forward in the round because these are a real good opportunity to use our VC loophole. Looking at the big game on Friday night, Sydney versus Geelong, I think there's a few options there that we can safely take a bit of a punt on our VC and use that loophole. I know myself, I'll be putting Joel Selwood as the VC. It's going to be pretty wet by all reports. He will be a really good player to thrive in those conditions and take a bit more of the load without Dangerfield there. You might look at a Hanbury. Whether you look at, I probably wouldn't look at a Jake Lloyd for a captaincy option, but certainly Joel Selwood is a very good option there. Otherwise, going through the rounds, you might look at Josh Kelly. You might be going through a Zach Merritt or something like that. Dane Zorko is another one who might be in a few teams as well. You might take a go at Bontempelli or something like that because I feel a lot of people will be looking to maybe take a punt on the Friday or the Saturday with your VC, and make sure you do have an option to find that floating zero and use an emergency, especially for a Saturday game. Don't overcomplicate it and then hurt yourself. And then I think a lot of people will be just going a safer option, whether it's a Dusty Martin or a Tom Mitchell on the Sunday. I think a pretty reliable option. So there are a couple of guys to certainly keep on your radar and have a look at there. In regards to Scotty Pendlebury, there may be a few people who still have him. I am one. I think he's still a while away. It's certainly not a choice to keep him waiting for him to come back, but more so having the right options to trade him for someone decent. Dane Beams is poking his head up as a potential candidate. He might be one who can get you a little bit of coin. He's about 30k less than Pendles. If you can slightly upgrade, I think Dylan Shield, Trent Cotchin's also around the mark. If you want to wait, though, wait one more week. If you can afford to do that, then I'm looking at Zach Merritt. I know I've got about 15k, which you've probably seen. I can get up to about 510, but no one's really taken my fancy. I can probably afford to hold another week. I'm going to bank on Zach Merritt getting around your 100 to 120, and that'll do me just nicely. His break-even is about 165. He should then fall, hopefully, another 30-odd thousand. I probably need him to score more about your 100 mark, maybe 110, but we don't want him to go too big for my sake because I think he can fall another 30, 35k and fall nicely into my price range. So just a bit of a left field option, because I think Merritt or even Lockie Neal is floating around that price. 527 I think he is. So a couple of guys, if you are still holding on to Pendlebury, which there wouldn't be too many, but he could be someone. So look, nothing real groundbreaking for this week of Supercoach. We get into finals fairly bruise free. If you haven't already, you should be using your trades to upgrade to a full team by this stage, a full team of premiums, barring maybe one, and then looking to really hit the finals head on. How many trades should you have left at this stage of the season? I think 3 or 4 would do you quite nicely. If you've got 2, there's nothing wrong with that. As I say, it's all relative to what your actual team looks like. If you've got a team of premiums, 1 or 2 is fine, because they're emergency trades. If you've got 5, but you've still got 4 blokes on the field that aren't premiums, well, you're in worse off strife than if you had a full team with 1 trade left. So it's all relative, but roughly speaking, I'd say anywhere between 2 to 4, providing you have 1 or 2 players off a complete team. And if you've got 3 or 4 in a complete team, then you're doing extremely well. So all the best for the weekend. I hope you get up in your finals. I'll probably be paying close attention to SuperCoach Draft for a bit of bragging rights, but all the best for your SuperCoach Classic endeavours. I'll be back on Sunday for the press conference, so stay tuned for that. Once again, all the best. I'll catch you guys soon.